Today was not a good day for you. Not only had you been called in on your birthday, but you were also bombarded with rude customers. It was an awful few hours. You were finally on break when you heard one of the animatronics come up to you. Looking up, you saw the one and only Montgomery.
Hey there, Birdie. Why so blue?
You went on to explain how terrible your day's been. You see a little sympathetic look pass his face as he sits beside you.
Well, I have something that might cheer you up.
As Monty gets up, you follow behind him as he takes you to Monty's golf. He takes you into an area that's usually off limits to customers, and upon entering the room, you see that it's decorated. Monty had remembered your birthday.
Surprise, little birdie. Happy birthday.
You pull Monty into a hug as you feel a wave of comfort and slight need wash over you.
I know it's not much, but I have another gift for you, Duff.
Placing a hand under your chin, Monty lifted your head up before gently kissing you. You gladly returned the gesture as you relaxed into his arms. It felt great with just the two of you there. You felt Monty's hands go down to your hips, pulling you closer with a firm grip. Monty then pulled away from the kiss before placing soft kisses on your neck.
I'll make this your best birthday. Just relax.
You did as he told you as you were sat down on the table. Monty began leaving marks down your neck with his sharp teeth. He didn't draw blood just yet, though.
You're mine, Birdie. Only mine. Got that?
Monty started going down to your chest as his hands trailed down to your thighs. You moaned out his name softly, making him growl lowly in your ear.
Keep making those noises, songbird.
You could feel his hands slip up under your shirt. You could feel him lightly tracing his claws over your skin, making you shiver. Monty was taking his time with you. The teasing only made things better and made you more needy.
Something the matter, Dove. You're squirming an awful lot there.
Monty made sure to avoid the spots where you wanted his touch the most. You wanted to ask him to touch you more, but having to tell him where you wanted him to touch would be too much for you to bear.
Go on, Dove. What is it you want?
Monty kept on teasing you and it drove you crazy. The light touches, gentle kissing, and small markings were all pushing you over the edge. Upon feeling him move away from your chest and back down to your hips, that was your final straw. You practically begged him to pleasure you. You could see the smirk of satisfaction on his face.
As you wish, songbird.
Just as you had asked, Monty began pulling down your pants and underwear for easy access to the place where you needed his attention the most. Monty used his tongue to tease your hole as he laid you back on the table. He was still moving at a slow pace, but it felt amazing.
It tastes so good.
Monty was getting a bit eager with his licking. He made sure to switch up his pace, constantly going from unbearably slow to unexpectedly fast. Your moans for him were getting louder as you started moving your hips to match his pace. However, Monty put his hands on your hips to stop you.
Oh, no you don't. No moving. I'm taking my time.
He then went back to his slow pace licking and light sucking. It was driving you up the wall. No matter how much you tried, you couldn't move your hips for more friction. You could only take the pleasure that Monty was giving you. You could feel yourself getting close to the edge, and with this constant teasing, you weren't sure if you'd be able to come. You looked down at Monty with a pleading expression that made him smirk.
What's the matter, hummingbird? Want something? Then use your words, love.
He was definitely doing this on purpose. You began to weakly beg him to let you come as you feel him slow down once again.
Already? You sure you can't hold out for a bit longer?
After asking that, Monty thrusted his tongue deep into you, catching you off guard. You could feel his smirk as he teasingly thrust his tongue in and out at a fast pace. It was almost too much to bear. But, just when you were on the edge, he stopped. You let out a frustrated whine as Monty pulled away before he began to unbuckle his pants.
Relax. Trust me. It's gonna be worth the wait.
You could see how hard Monty was. You honestly wondered if he even fit. Monty positioned his tip to your hole as he firmly held you by your hips.
Ready?
Once you had said yes, you felt Monty slowly begin to enter you. He was surprisingly gentle with you. Once Monty was halfway in, he began to thrust at a slow pace, groaning as you squeezed around him.
You feel so good.
As he gripped you by your hips, he began to increase his speed, thrusting deeper and faster by the second, and you were loving every moment of it.
There you go, my dove. Take me. All of me.
You could feel his thrust getting deeper and closer to your G-spot each time he went in. Once he did thrust into your G-spot, Monty growled in satisfaction at your loud moaning.
There you go, songbird. Sing for me.
Monty not only increased his speed, but the force behind his thrust. Although a bit rough, it didn't hurt at all. You moan out his name as you wrapped your legs around his waist, feeling your entire body fill with pleasure.
Louder, baby. I want the pizza flex to hear you.
You couldn't really control yourself. It felt like you were going crazy from how much pleasure you felt. You were getting close again. You began to beg Monty to let you come in between your moans. You weren't sure how much more you could take of this.
Alright, dove. Come. But I ain't stopping till I come, so get ready.
Monty began thrusting into your G-spot at a fast and rough pace. You felt yourself squeezing around him as you reached your climax. And as promised, Monty didn't stop. You honestly felt like you were going crazy, with the endless pleasure in Monty's constant teasing. You didn't know how much longer you could last, but he showed no signs of stopping.
What's the matter, little bird? Too much for you?
You could tell by the way Monty's thrusts were going that he was getting close himself. You decided to squeeze around him tighter as you clung to him, hoping that it would ease in the unbearable pleasure that you were feeling.
Fuck. You're so tight.
As Monty's thrust started to become animalistic, you could tell he was reaching his climax, and you were about to reach your second one. With this constant thrusting into your G-spot, you didn't know if you'd be able to hold out for another orgasm.
Fuck. You're my birdie. You got that? Mine.
Monty began biting into your shoulder roughly. You could tell by the speed of his thrusts and how rough he was getting that he was getting close, and you were as well. You could feel Monty teasing your nipples from underneath your shirt, driving you closer to your orgasm.
Mine. You're mine. No. All mine.
As you began to feel Monty's member throbbing inside you, you started moving your hips to match his thrusts. You could feel yourself riding towards your orgasm, and you could feel him getting closer to his.
Come with me, my dove. Okay?
You nod as you feel yourself getting lost in the pleasure, feeling your orgasm peaking, and, with one last thrust from Monty, right into your G-spot, you both came.
Fuck. Oh, fuck. Fuck, you feel so good.
As the two of you began to calm down from your high, Monty gently placed a kiss on your cheek, smiling softly at you.
Happy birthday, my songbird.